Hey everyone, Brandon McCaskill here. Thank you for liking my page. And if you haven't yet, be sure to give it a like and make sure you're following so you can get updated for everything that I do on this page. I just wanted to make this video to tell you what to expect on this page. I'm what you would call an evolving author. I've been writing stories basically all my life. Since I was about 10 years old, I would be illustrating and writing my own stories. But this year, it's the first time that I've published a novel, and it's this one here. This is still in process, still finalizing, but it's a kid's novel. It's a kid/teen. I would say no younger than 10 years old, reading level. So yeah, I'm really excited. Just finishing up the last touches, and that will be available on Amazon.com and Amazon.ca. But what I wanted to share on this video was to, again, tell you what to expect on this page. I have another book in the process of, I'm writing it. I'm on chapter 2, and I hope to have that one off, onto Amazon.com by this summer or maybe into the fall of 2021. So that's really exciting. And yeah, I just want to maybe invite you guys. I'll invite you right now. I wasn't going to say this, but I will right now. I'm going to be reading my new book, which is a Christmas book, by the way, When Christmas Comes to Life. And I'll give you a brief description of a brief summary because I don't want to give too much away. But what I want to do is read a chapter over live video with you guys watching, maybe interacting with me in the comments. I think that would be a lot of fun. And maybe I could do that, twice a week, maybe Friday night and Saturday night. I think that's a sweet idea. But those will be the weeks leading up to Christmas. So I'll do that. And there was something else I want. Oh, yes. So this cover I painted myself. It's an oil painting. Basically, I didn't want to pay someone to do it because it's quite expensive. And I hadn't painted in 10 years. So this was really fun I made a lot of mistakes doing it. It took me probably 13 hours to do it just because oil paints take a long time to dry. And sometimes, I was making a lot of mistakes. But that was fun. And then my wife designed the cover for me. She's a sweetheart. She did that for me. She just got it looking really good. And I formatted the book myself with a program called Scribus, which was, that was a learning curve. Very finicky program, but I'm glad I took the time to learn that because with my upcoming book, I think it's just going to be very smooth sailing. Okay, so brief summary of this book. This is, I would say, I don't like saying kids because it gives the impression that it's like childish. It's not. It's kid/teen. So I would say from 10 years old to probably 14 years old. It's Christian content. It's got a powerful message in it. Someone asked me this the other day, and it's really interesting. They said, who would you compare your writing to? And I said, I would say C.S. Lewis, because he's been a very prominent influence in my reading, I don't want to say career, in my reading endeavors. So I think I've adapted to his writing style a lot. And another writer is a guy named Paul McCusker who worked for Focus on the Family and Adventures in Odyssey. I always read all his books. He was a phenomenal writer as well. And C.S. Lewis inspired him as well. So that's kind of my what would you call it? My style, my writing style. And it's really cool because, I really believe that in today's culture, our kids, how can I say this? They're not equipped. They're not equipped enough to get out into the world and experience difficult situations. A little bit of a backstory. I'm kind of getting off trail here. I was telling you about this, but I'll tell you this first. And it's how this book actually started. My wife and I were going through something actually very devastating with our son and his health. And I can just remember in the darkest moments of where we were at that time, I remember just, grasping onto these little foundational truths that my parents taught me when I was little. And I think I don't know if it's our stubbornness as adults, where we think these little nuggets of wisdom and truth that seem so simple, it's like, they're irrelevant to us. But those are the little truths, those little nuggets that gave me joy in the midst of a storm. And that's what I give credit to, that brought my wife and I through it. And that's where this story began. The first chapter of this book I was writing on my phone in a hospital room. I was just crying, and because this character, I was inventing this character with this equal amount of devastation happening in his life. And because I just wanted to kind of put the pressure on someone else and kind of invent a way how they would get through that. And as I was doing it, it was very therapeutic for me. It was my coping mechanism, you can say that, to say the least. And and then it was one of those books where that's all I thought about. I couldn't go to sleep at night without thinking at least for an hour about the contents of the story. And writers say that, they say if your story keeps you up, you've probably come across something pretty special. So I hope that's what it is. And that's just my belief. I think kids need to be equipped just with these little emeralds. I'm gonna call them emeralds of truth that will equip them to deal with the battles they face, especially in adulthood. I mean, if you look at the suicide rates with teenagers, it's so sad, actually. It's horrible. I mean, we live in a 100,000 population city here in Ontario, and the suicide here is, any amount of suicide is too high, but it's just so sad to hear when you hear it on the radio and you hear it amongst friends. We need to address this problem, and I think it starts here when they're kids, to bring them up with truth to hold on to, with solid, and in my perspective, it's solid biblical truths, because you can hold on to these things and believe them. I mean, just to give you an example, when my wife and I were going through the garbage that we were going through, knowing and remembering this simple truth that seems insignificant. This is just one example, that my wife loves me. Just that one that's powerful. And if you start adding up all these little things that we call insignificant, if you start adding them up all throughout your day, all the good things that happen, they surround and choke out the dark situation. Maybe not completely, but they allow you to still hold on to joy and to believe that, something good will come of your dark situation. And I don't mean to get too preachy here, but that's just the essence of this book. And I want people to be inspired. I want them to be encouraged. And I want them to walk away not just, with a warm, fuzzy feeling that it's a Christmas book. I mean, it is. And there's some very bright, interesting characters in this book. But that's what I want you to walk away with. And now to the summary of the story. Sorry, I went on a giant rabbit trail. It's about a young boy named Finn, he's got devastating things happening to him in his life. He's only 6 years old, and he winds up at an orphanage where he thinks, all hope is lost. Feels like there's just no goodness in sight for him. And he's searching. He's searching for answers, and he ends up being thrown into a journey where Christmas decorations start coming to life, and he meets all these very interesting characters that remind him of the lessons that he learned growing up. So that's the essence of the story. Guys, I hope you'll join me on these live readings of this book. I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited for it. And I'm going to be posting some cool content as well. So thank you guys for watching so much. I appreciate it. I look forward to connecting with you. Feel free to send me a message just to say hello. Leave me a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. And again, be sure to like this page. Make sure you're following it so that you can be notified every time I make a new video or a new post. And I wish you guys well. Take care, and God bless.